Let's wait.
That's an interesting conversation to have. But let's talk about some stocks, because I know people want to know how they can benefit, how they can, we said this a million times, but
they want MAGA money in 25.
Yeah, what are the stocks? What are the stocks? What are the stocks that's going to benefit from Trump's being in office?
I mean, we saw them sit next to him. Meta, for sure. Google, for sure. Amazon's going to do incredibly well. Google will be in that B tier when OpenAI goes public, to the moon. Anduril to the moon. NVIDIA. And even though they had their kerfuffle, Tim Cook showed up. That tells you. Like, that's why I said, I know Trump has to look at that and say, okay, yeah, you did donate to me, but I'm helping you make billions more. You highlighted this on Breakfast Club. Elon, of course, is obvious in Tesla for sure. But if I give you 100 million and I make 100 billion, that return is worth it. Trump is a businessman. I know at some point he has to think, what if I put them into my own ETF? Because he is the catalyst for them going higher the next 4 years. So sometimes the obvious picks are right in front of your face. They were illustrated and got a lot of TV time. Even in the donation, I'm like, did they negotiate how much time and press they would get next to him? How much has Tesla went up since he announced he would be assistant? Elon, and one day we got to have a conversation about Elon's masterful plan of taking over the country is working.
It's in line. It's in line. I'm gonna add a few more. I think Palantir plays a role.
Palantir do great
from a standpoint of surveillance and government contracts. But we said this before, man. You could break it down into categories from a defense standpoint, and that's been huge. Protect the country, protect the borders. So Lockheed Martin for sure. RTX is another one. When you look at the amount, we're talking about billions of dollars that have been allocated for them in contracting. The financial sector, which we just alluded to. I mean, we saw what Goldman did when they reported last week.
Yeah.
Deregulate
BlackRock, JP Morgan.
Exactly. JP, those would be my top two, Goldman and JP. Then infrastructure, I think Caterpillar. I mean,
for sure.
It's primes, right? We already talked about the home crisis, the housing crisis. They're going to build more. Those are the type of companies you got to be looking at. Obviously, the Max 7s make a lot of sense, but start breaking it down by sectors that have extreme interest from the administration, right? Those are them. I'll be interested to see what he does with the CHIP Act. I know that they said that they were going to repeal it. I doubt that they will, but pay attention to what they do with that. And energy. I mean, we spoke about energy. We talked about VRT. We talked about Vista as well. These stocks aren't going anywhere. Administration approval. We cannot lose the race when it comes to artificial intelligence. How are we going to do it? We got to build data centers. We got to power those data centers. We have to have connectivity to those data centers. Those are all going to be in play.
And also watch the CEOs who are doing interviews that are speaking positively about how Trump will impact our economy, and they hated him 4 or 8 years ago.
Well, there hasn't been one high-profile CEO that has spoke out negatively about Trump at all.